63063, Min Min Fruit, Dao Dao Fruit, The Last Puzzle, subscribe. See you next time, Shiki. Newgate side, maybe it will be the enemy opponent by then. Gee, ha 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 ha. Shiki didn't mind Newgate's rejection at all. Then you'd better get your head ready, Newgate. Goo la 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 la. A figure is flying towards you. Master Shiki is back. On the news west, the Amazon Lily warriors surrounded them one after another. Shiki's clothes were covered in dust, and his face had been shattered. Master Shiki, are you all right? I'll get you some hot water. I'm going to get wet towels. Ship doctor, ship doctor. Da-da-da. The brisk footsteps of the women kept passing on the deck. I wanted to lure Newgate here, but that guy is too blunt. He doesn't even have any ideas of his own. It's a pity. He's obviously very strong. Shiki's exhaustion from fighting has long been swept away, and he is now full of energy. It was a frantic spit to Edward Newgate. Hearing this, Kazan laughed and said, "How was the result?" The fighting process was quite enjoyable. It can't be considered a win. Anyway, it's much easier than dealing with you. Shiki waved his hands indifferently and said, "Let's not talk about it. However, I found this on the way back, and I don't know what ability it is." Then Shiki pulled out a strange fruit from behind. It was devil fruit without a doubt. Is Shiki possessed by Lady Luck? Came back from a fight and ran into a devil fruit. Kazan took a look. Information immediately popped into mind. Ding! You touched the secret treasure of the local world sea, Paramecia Island fruit. Congratulations, host. Fortune value, 15. Total fortune value, 95 points. Seeing this, Kazan couldn't help being a little stunned. Island fruit. The eater is Avaro Pizarro, the evil king of the Blackbeard pirate group. After he eats it, he can fuse himself with an entire island of 19. The fusion materials include trees, rocks, and sand, and let the island speak. Although more capabilities are unclear. But for Kazan, who has always wanted to make the island into a spaceship, the island fruit is very likely to be a bug or another plug-in. What if you could change the shape of the island? Does it mean that it is easier to build islands? In addition to the Dao Dao fruit, there are also Min Min fruits in hand. The selection of capable persons is another imminent matter. Good job, Shiki. You're a lucky star. Jiahahaha. This is a good fight. Shiki laughed. The Amazon Lily woman cleaned up Shiki with a wet towel, and the long bread prepared another fine meal for Shiki. The banquet came to an end in a pleasant atmosphere. Kazan also had a purpose in meeting Newgate this time. But I didn't see anyone, and I didn't care. I can only prepare to ask Newgate the next time I see him, where did he get the leaf fruit? No. Kazan also got a few devil fruits. After observation, some devil fruits grow on trees, and the Fong Fong fruit can still be seen on the fruit stem when it was picked. And like Min Min fruit and Dao Dao fruit, there is no scar on the fruit pedicle, which can only be attributed to natural formation. The reason why Kazan wants to meet Newgate is because shock fruit is also a disaster fruit after all. Is the location of the discovery a special island like Hurricane Island? How big is the earthquake? Is there a black text on the island? No. Since Shiki intercepted Newgate, he could only wait for the next meeting. Kazan stood up. Okay, everyone is ready tonight. We're leaving tomorrow. Everyone in the Flying Pirates raised their hands excitedly. On the other side, Island Harbor. On the deck, Edward Newgate's naked and strong body, with two cross-shaped scars on his body, made the crew look dull. Brother Newgate, this is. Is Kazan that powerful? He can actually leave a knife wound to my brother. And there are still two. Newgate's bleeding had stopped, but the wound was still frightening. At this time, Ochaku and Silveraxe also recovered slightly. Seeing Newgate's appearance, he couldn't help asking, Newgate, did Kazan lose? Both Ochaku and Silveraxe have been brutally abused by Kazan, and the Daily Move Conquerors is full of tearing plaques wrapped around the shock. Seeing Newgate's state now, although he has a knife wound on his body, it is definitely not an internal injury. That's normal, too. Newgate is a monster. He's very good at defending against hockey, Silveraxe said. And the result of the battle, with the destructive power of his shock fruit, seems to be tilting towards victory. I didn't see Kazan. Newgate put down Song Yunxie. Ochaku and Silveraxe were confused at the same time. Then where did your injury come from? I only saw Kazan's brother, can't? So, Newgate's voice gradually fell silent. All the pirates were collectively shocked, and the chirping voice kept coming. Brother Newgate, you just met Shiki, the second in command of the flying pirates, and you were beaten like this? No, you are Edward Newgate. Isn't it normal to lose? Newgate looked indifferent, sitting by the fence, propped up his huge chin, and looked into the distance. The inside of the pirate group was completely shocked. What? It doesn't matter if you don't see the opponent's boss, but you are defeated by the opponent's second son Shiki. What kind of existence are the flying pirates? Achika thought and spoke directly. The Rock's boss wants to recruit the Kazan brothers. Isn't he going to do it himself? Probably. There is no one else in the regiment. Silver Axe nodded. Achiku was sweating coldly, turned his head and ordered, "Let's set sail. Get out of this ghostly place." Time comes a week later. Beehive Island, Hakanosu. In the Skull Building. Newgate, Achiku, Silver Axe are back here. Boss of the Rocks, Charlotte Linlin was snatched by Kazan, and now he has joined pirates in the sky. Moreover, Kazan has the same conqueror's skills as the boss, so he is really difficult to deal with, Achika said with some trembling. Rocks frowned, not dwelling on Charlotte Linlin. Linlin is just a rookie with potential. To what extent the future will be is not clear. It will be recruited later, and it will be the same wherever it is placed now. It was Kazan's mastery of Conqueror's entanglement that made Rocks a little wary. Entangling is the iconic use skill of soaring combat power. Kazan is only 18 or 19 years old, so he stepped into the ranks of the peak power so quickly. Rocks, well, what about you, Newgate? Newgate, I went to find Kazan, but I was stopped by Shiki, and I had a fight, and the word was brought. Rocks waved his hand, no longer in the mood to ask further questions. Not a single good thing happened during this time. A few days ago, in order to completely clear the route east of Hakanosu, Rocks took John to destroy the 2 marine branches along the way. As a result, Naval Headquarters was indifferent at the time. It's clear that Naval Headquarters is determined to keep Rocks' bounty below Kazan's. Rocks thought to himself, I can only do it myself. Time passed again, half a month. Night. The Nuxus is flying 100 meters above the sea surface. The boat was brightly lit. According to Kazan's understanding, the lanternfish will glow at night, and the target will be more obvious. Moreover, the lanternfish seems to be attracted by the light. In this case, the flying pirates are also on guard at night, wandering around the entire sea area looking for lanterns fish. A pirate member recruited from the Linlin pirates. At the moment, standing on the deck and looking around with binoculars. East, no fire. West side, no anomalies found. South, looks like there's a light. A pirate ran briskly to the conference hall. On the captain's throne, Kazan is reading a book on it. Ding, you have read South Blue Queen Victoria's photo album. Experience value plus 9,999. Trigger specific conditions. Luck value plus 5. Ding, your luck value reaches 100 points. And if you encounter a chance event, you will be rewarded with a critical hit. Pirates come here. Report. Boss Kazan, there are lights in the south. Kazan made a move, and the wind dragon began to blow towards the south. Look, Shaki, Kazan said. Go and see. Soon, the flying pirates arrived at the designated location silently. When he found that there was only a pirate ship below, he lost all interest. After all, he was looking for the Lantern King, and the goal was pure gold. When the 2 brothers met a pirate, they were too lazy to go down and grab it. But Kazan thought that his fortune value had reached 100 points, and he couldn't help looking forward to it. Although the fortune value does not represent luck, every time the fortune value comes just right, there are often lucky events. At this time, too loud and earth-shattering laughter came over. Build a fire. Eat a snake. Big brother. The loud laughter, full of air, reached Kazan's ears. Go down and have a look. Kazan turned into a wind and disappeared in place. Shaki quickly followed suit. On the sea, an old pirate ship is sailing staggeringly. The hull is much larger than the average pirate group. Kazan landed lightly on the deck. I saw 2 warriors of the Titan tribe sitting cross-legged on the deck, cushioned by iron body, and a fire was lit on it. And in the fishing net next to the 2 of them, there are 2 miserable swimming snakes. Roast snake? Seeing the sudden appearance of Kazan, the 2 Titans immediately stood up. Where did you come from, the dwarves? Are you hungry? Our brothers don't have anything to entertain you. Do you want to eat snakes? It's not impossible to give you a tail. Huge licked his thick lips and laughed. Kazan frowned. These two titans looked like two savages, but one of them looked familiar. I can't remember for a while. They are the two captains of the giant four pirates, Lee and Imoku. Lee's bounty is 250 million berry. Imoku's bounty is 220 million berry. They are brothers from the Titan tribe. At this time, Shaki's voice came from behind. Do you know our brothers? The two titans asked at the same time. Wrote, I have collected your information. Shaki asked again. But why are you here? Well, we once recruited a group of dwarf crew members, but all of them are already old. We brothers can only send them back to our 200 hometown to retire. Lee replied, Understood. But Kazan heard the name Molly and looked at the image of his beard. Can't help but think for a while. Molly, it seems to be an army commander in the Gemming army. That's right, it's him. It is said that Molly was also a pirate before he was imprisoned and impaled down, and he became famous 100 years ago, and he used the fruit ability to create the 5.5 of impel down. After escaping, he became the commander of the Songming army. Molly has the devil fruit ability to make holes in the ground, and is also a titan. Their constitution is far more terrifying than ordinary people, and their lifespan is extremely long. It can be regarded as a powerful warrior. Scholar. No, they don't seem to eat the devil fruit. Would it be an option to let the Min fruit and the Dao fruit be controlled by the titans? Looks like it's not impossible. This is. Shaki suddenly saw two swimming snakes in the fishing net. Immediate surprise. Nuko lime. Nukem twisted. Cece. My Lord Empress, I thought you didn't want us anymore. The lives of our orphans are so miserable. Hurry up and save us. Rhyme tilted his head. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Whoa, I almost ate the giant glowing fish in one bite. And to be roasted by the titan? Woo, woo, woo. Lime just wants to pull the boat. The two swimming snakes stuck out their tongues, with resentful and complaining expressions. These two snakes were brought out by Shaki from the Amazon lily. After the peony snake was robbed by Kazan a year ago, the pirate ship was directly lifted into the air, and Newcom and Lime were sleeping on the bottom of the boat. When I woke up, I was left in the Sea of New World. Unexpectedly, they wandered to this sea area and could still meet each other. Shaki felt amazing. Are these two snakes your friends? Asked Molly. Shaki, it's my pet. It's a pity that can't be eaten. Kazan paid no attention to the conversation between the two. Because it is in the mouth of the swimming snake, it seems to have heard that the two swimming snakes seem to have met the huge glowing fish. Immediately, Kazan asked, Lime, you call me. How do you know the language of snakes? Stop talking nonsense. Where is that huge glowing fish? Just to the east in that cold water area. Rhyme raised his tail and looked eastward. There. Rhyme then went on to describe some of the fish's characteristics. Kazan couldn't help being surprised. Correspond. It's the Lantern King. Pure gold, the final strategic puzzle is about to come together. Is this the magical function of fortune value? 64064. Hey, Lantern. Lord Lantern is a very special lantern fish in One Piece special chapter. It has a huge body and especially likes to collect shiny things. On the island of legendary Alchemy, more than 100 years ago, in order to treat his daughter's terminal illness, a mineral scientist and his wife work hard to extract the most precious metal from various gold mines. Pure gold. This kind of pure gold can make the wearing human body and the surrounding time enter a state of extreme slowdown. Never grow old, never die, stay young forever. This feature can also suspend the disease and treat all terminal illnesses in disguise. Pure gold is extremely shiny. The noble gold light is as gorgeous as the first ray of sun in the morning. But in the end, because the dazzling light accidentally leaked, Alchemy Island attracted the attention of a huge lantern fish, and more than half of the island was swallowed by Lord Lantern. And half the island swallowed. Not only does it contain ready-made pure gold, but all gold mines also enter the belly of the fish at the same time. From then on, Pure Vidra was well known by the world and disappeared into a legendary on the sea. It can be said, in the pirate world, pure gold is the #1 treasure in the pirate world. Its presence makes even celestial dragons salivate. Certainly, Kazan is also very yearning for pure gold. And his goal is not just to use pure gold to live forever. In fact, everyone has their peak. After the peak period, it will decline. Take Shiki as an example. His physical fitness at the age of 30 is definitely not comparable to that at the age of 18 or 19. And if Shiki wears pure gold at the age of 30, then he can maintain his peak combat power forever. That's not counting. In the endless years to come, Shiki can also continue to accumulate combat experience and will only become stronger as he fights. The true meaning of pure gold is maintain the peak and then break through the peak. And if the flying pirates are in the group, how about 100, 1,000, or even 10,000 such immortal peak combat power? The impact of that picture is unimaginable in the future. So, in Kazan's plan, pure gold is the #1 strategic reserve. Its value is much higher than a simple devil fruit. Now the sea. The moonlight is gradually dimming, the clouds are overcast, and the sky seems to have the urge to rain. The deck of Nuxus. The two titans had been pulled aboard by Kazan as guests, sitting cross-legged on the deck and looking around. Kazan decided to go back and reconsider letting them join the air pirates. After all, the titans are very talented, and their physical strength is beyond a reach of ordinary people. This characteristic directly makes the titans a good candidate for eating devil fruit. Titan, so familiar. Well. Molly? Emoku, is that you? Seeing the titans appearing on the boat, Charlotte Lin immediately jumped out of the room. From the looks of it, she seemed to know the two titan captains. Isn't this Lin? Molly and Emoku asked in surprise at the same time. Why are you a born saboteur here? Lin joined Kazan's air pirates. You won't cause damage here, will you? After the chat between Lin and Titan, Kazan and others also understood. Lin also went to Albuff, a country of the Titans, when he was young, and met some Titans during the period, but because of the anorexia attack, Lin was expelled from Albuff because of the anorexic attack and the destruction of the Meow people on the island. Not every Titan on Albuff Island hates Lin, though. Some people are still willing to believe that Lin was unintentional. Moby and Emoku are exceptions. They were chatting happily with Charlotte Lin, and Shaki was also very interested in the intelligence of the Titans, so on the News West, the banquet began again. The recruiting thing Kazan didn't want to bother with. Whether it can be done or not is not that important anyway. It also depends on people's wishes. Kazan's first priority is to attract Lord Lantern out. Lanternfish is a kind of cruel fish in the SEA that as long as they are given time to develop, they will grow infinitely, and some can swallow a large island. In order to possess its favorite pure gold, this fish even swallows an entire island, and after swallowing the island, it will digest the minerals and refine all the pure gold into the lantern above its head. So that, let the lantern above your head shine even brighter. Even in the dark, it can illuminate the entire night sky. Certainly, pure gold is not only stored in the lantern, but also in the belly of Lord Lantern. But compared to the refined ones in the lanterns, that small piece of pure gold can no longer be described as small. Kazan hooked his fingers. A red Madara snake came tremblingly. It spat out snake letters, and its body resisted a little. But the one in front of me is the man who conquered the Empress. A snake really can't be offended. It's better to be obedient, otherwise you will be skinned and made into a snake skin drum. Kazan flicked Rhyme's snake head. He laughed and said, "This is the sea area where you encountered lantern fishes?" Rhyme sniffed the sea breeze with his nose, and the snake letter was stirred in the wind. Then he nodded obediently to Kazan solemnly, like kneeling down. Hiss. Boss Kazan, you are so wise. This is the sea. Go down. Hiss. Boss, you can order anything at any time. Lime is always at your service. Kazan has the talent of listening to the voice of all things, which seems to be a little stronger than Roger's, and he has also gained the ability to talk to animals. Shaki, come here so. Soon, Kazan calls up a large pile of gold from the space. Clinking gold scattered across the deck. Great impact. This massive amount of gold. It directly scared the two captains of the Titan clan. So much gold. Dude, how much is this worth, Barry? Looking at Mo Lee and Imoka's eyes widened. They looked like they had never seen the world. Kazan didn't mind either. This is the gold from Sky Island Shandora. Shandora is called the Golden Country, but not every brick there is gold, but all the buildings are painted with gold paint and decorated with gold. And the real pure gold building is only the huge golden clock. Its actual value is far more valuable than the entire Shandora. Of course, buildings are not gold, other artifacts are. Therefore, the gold that Kazan took from Sky Island was just scattered outside, and those gold artifacts in the belly of the giant snake on Sky Island, which were probably left by local nobles. As for the golden bell, why not take it? First of all, Kazan has regarded Sky Island as his territory, and he can take it at any time. Secondly, the golden bell has the characteristics of a holy object. As long as Kazan rings the golden bell in the future, it is possible to gain believers, which may be against the sea, an effect not mentioned intentionally. Naturally, it is quite normal to keep the cultural relic of the golden bell on his own island. ZZ. Soon, Shiki used Thunder Fruit's lightning metallurgy skills to smelt all kinds of strange-shaped gold utensils into a golden ball, about 3 meters in diameter. Hey. After the gold ball cooled, Shiki used lion fruit to float the gold and placed it at an altitude of more than 100 meters above the sea. Loiter. Amazon Lily's female warrior immediately split up and used 4 lights to spotlight the golden ball, which swayed slightly. Moment. In the night, the golden ball becomes a small, glittering artificial sun. The whole sea is sparkling with golden light reflected by the golden ball. This wonderful night scene made the whole banquet pause. Everyone is at the fence, enjoying the beauty of this moment. Wow, what a wonderful scenery. Is Master Kazan an artist incarnate? What a beautiful golden night. Wonderland. Everyone opened their mouths wide and sighed. Charlotte Lin was lying on the railing, staring at the gold ocean below with wide eyes. Her eyes were reflected in gold, and she was stunned. Moku of the Titan family was also shocked by the scene in front of him. That is a pure gold sun. What is Captain Kazan going to do? Everyone's curiosity has been aroused. After only 15 minutes, accident happened suddenly. All to see. The sea suddenly surged at this moment. Gold's waves churned even more violently, and under the sea, a huge sun in the water with a dazzling glare was rampaging on the bottom of the sea. This underwater sun is like a golden pen, painting on the bottom of the sea. The wonderful gold lines outline an epic painting that is difficult to describe in words. Oh, everyone's mouths became O-shaped. This is too spectacular. Such a picture, Rishin will be satisfied after seeing it once. Kazan's eyes lit up when he saw the picture of the seabed. Here we come. Get ready, Shiki. That's right, the fish on the bottom of the sea is the Lantern King. Boom. The waves pushed over layer by layer with a huge ocean sound. And in an instant, a big red fish rushed out of the water, opened a huge mouth the size of an island, like a crocodile rushing to eat, and was about to bite the golden ball in the sky. Above its head, an even bigger golden lantern was shaking, and the lantern illuminated even the clouds in the sky, covered with a layer of gold. Roar. This terrifying giant creature seemed very excited, and there were continuous roars from its mouth. Mock up. Shiki looked contemptuously. Immediately raising his hand, Jiajinshio immediately floated to a higher position. Card smash. Master Lantern leaped out of the water, bursting out a huge amount of water spray, biting down with one bite, leaving nothing. Sir Lantern suddenly became furious and continued to roar. Its eyes as big as a house are wide open, looking at the gold sun in the sky, flashing a trace of unwillingness and anger, but it will not fall into the sea with the force of gravity. The roar continued, indicating that Lord Lantern was about to charge again, jumping over the dragon's gate, and had to swallow the gold in his belly. But it was also at the moment when the Lantern King fell into the water. Kazan turned into a whirlwind of extreme speed, quickly cut into the sea, and at the second of gathering his figure, he immediately drew out the first-generation ghost, locked on the lantern and slashed down. Green moon. Tingling, buzzing. A huge green slash was issued. Let the whole sea become a faint green. And green's crescent slash directly cut across a piece of sea, the sea at this moment. Divided into 2 halves by a slanting shock wave, in a short moment, the upper wave immediately surged and suppressed, and a small tsunami was formed at this moment, heading towards Kazan. Break the sea. Not what Kazan came here for. Sending out a slash is not to cut off the sea. However, this slash surprised everyone. So powerful. What level of power is this? If there is a ranking of great swordsmen in the world, there is no doubt that someone will rank Kazan first. Even the rebellious golden lion Shiki. Roar. Lord Lantern's strange howling resounded throughout the sea. The moment he fell into the water, he kept churning on the surface of the water, jumping like a fish. Because the huge golden lantern above the Lantern King's head, full of pure gold, had been separated from its body at some point, and it even. I feel like my body is half as light. Boom. Master Lantern smashed into the sea heavily. Immediately, I felt my head buzzing, and the weight became even lighter. Then Mr. Lantern fell into a daze and sank to the bottom of the Essia. It only felt that there was darkness in front of it. The world is full of malice, the situation is not right, and there is always a feeling that something is missing. Wait, what? Hey, lanterns. Why is there only one vine left? Mr. Lantern controlled the string connected to the lantern. In the end, he only found that there was only one vine shaking in front of him, and the incision of the vine was smooth and flat, and the blood, Majao, coming out was Galu. Constantly spraying red paint towards the sea. The salty taste of the sea is becoming more and more obvious. Kazan was floating high above the sea at the moment, and had no time to study the pure gold lantern. Facing this house-sized lantern, he waved his palm casually, and the pure gold lantern was taken into the space by him. Then it elementalized into a faint green wind, and the golden ball was also stored in the space. Here we go, Shiki. Go back to the deck. The flying Nuxus didn't stop at all, and escaped into the dark sky. And the sea surface below is no longer shining golden at this moment, and gradually becomes extremely dark. Sea surface. The huge head of the Lantern King emerged from the water. Eyes like copper bells, looking at the spaceship going away, full of questions. But, what happened? What about the pure gold that I have accumulated for hundreds of years? Not on that boat either. Dabo and Kazan, who returned to the deck, had just landed not long ago. Just look at the pure gold lantern in the space, round and shining with golden light. This is a part of Mr. Lantern's body, and it has been refined by for hundreds of years. All of it is pure gold with full purity. However, this house-sized lantern, at this moment, changed hands and became Kazan's pocket. The light in the space was originally a vast expanse of whiteness, but now it is covered with golden light. The dazzling light of pure gold even dyes the storage space of the system into a gold negative. Wonderful. This feeling is so wonderful. Also at this time, there was a crisp sound in Kazan's mind. Dang. It is detected that the host has contacted the eternal secret treasure, Ocean Pure Gold. Experience value plus 30 million. Get the entry branch of Conqueror's Hockey Wisdom Kill. Get the Observation Hockey entry branch. Read hearts. 65-065. Interesting voice. New plan. Kazan becomes the target. Get the branch of Conqueror's Hockey entry Knowledge Kill. Get the Observation Hockey entry branch. Read people's hearts. Rewarded. Space plus 400 cubic. The critical strike generated by the fortune value has been cleared. The total experience value is 54.11 million points. Do you want to add the corresponding entry? Hearing the voice, Kazan immediately said silently, "At each entry on average, open the panel." Host Kazan. Swordsmanship, 479. Constitution, 479. Observation Hockey V61. Foreseeing the future. Reading people's hearts. Armament Hockey, 461. Mobility. Conqueror's Hockey, 461. Entangling, Knowledge Kill. Lion Fruit Wind Fruit, LV61, Not Yet Awakened. Special Talent, Listen to Everything. Treasure Hunting Radar. Fortune, 0. Experience Value, 0. Portable Space, 500 cubic meters /books /pure gold /black boulder. I didn't expect to get so many benefits while harvesting pure gold. It seems that keeping the fortune value at full value may really increase luck. It just happens that I have collected more and more things recently, and the space is a bit insufficient. Adding 400 cubic meters of storage space, this reward is also a proper benefit. Knowledge kills. Read people's hearts. Seeing the two new entries, Kazan was even more pleasantly surprised, his eyes shining brighter than pure gold. I just got Conqueror's Entanglement, and I thought it would take a long time to awaken the new entry. Did not expect so soon. There are also two branches of the best entries. Knowledge kills. It is the derivative ability obtained after Conqueror's Hockey cultivated to the top level. In later generations, the Four Emperors' red-haired Shanks, as the strongest man in hockey, he used Conqueror's Hockey to control his own breath, making it impossible for opponents to use observation haki to foresee the future. But is the knowledge-killing function just that? In Kazan's view, forward killing is a branch that restrains all knowledge color features. Otherwise, why is the name knowledge instead of foreseeing the future kill? Kazan couldn't help but think about the killing entry. Read people's minds. Reading people's hearts belongs to the branch of knowledge, and the representative of the owner is the lonely red, Baloric Redfield. He has become a top powerhouse who can keep pace with Roger and Whitebeard with the power of only one person. The ability is to read the inner thoughts of others and to read associated memories. It is precisely because of his experience of reading people's hearts that Ladefield has become a genius and at the same time has a withdrawn personality. In this regard, Kazan is going to try this skill in the future. Then, it is the protagonist of today's competition, Pure Gold. Because these pure golds are refined by Mr. Lantern for hundreds of thousands of years, Mr. Lantern seems to have mastered the method of refining pure gold. As long as there are special gold mines on the island, it will swallow all the pure gold in one gulp, focus on the Lantern Minister. After a long period of refining, the entire outer shell of the lantern has been refined into a container similar to transparent glass, which is extremely strong, and the pure gold inside glistens and shines brightly, like a high-wattage light bulb. The weight of pure gold is at least 50 tons. That's enough wealth to buy the whole world. This trip is really rewarding. Not only did I get the island fruit, but I also awakened to kill people and read people's hearts. I even got the absolute secret treasure of the ocean, pure gold and endless wealth. But Kazan seems. Pure gold is a treasure that cannot be exchanged for billions of dollars, and it will never be sold. After tidying up the panels, Kazan returns to the deck of the Nuxus. There is still a banquet. Regarding the matter of pure gold, he did not take the initiative to tell other members of the Flying Pirates. The reason is also very simple. Pure gold is the most important strategic material. Kazan will not sell, let alone give away. Running a pirate group or faction is almost the same as running a company. In a company, if you want to get shares pure gold, you must first show your true skills, prove your irreplaceability, and make great contributions to the team for a long time. Otherwise, you will be given pure gold as a gift if you join. It is not a joke. No amount of pure gold is enough for such a defeat. Shiki hands over a glass of red wine. She blushed slightly and looked at Kazan with fascinated eyes. The operation of looting the treasure of the lanternfish just now is really cool. The plan was right to the point. It was flawless. Sure enough, he's a man whose wisdom is like an abyss. At this time, inadvertently, by reading people's hearts, Zahn heard Shaki's heart. Yo the GA, it's great that this king can suffer from lovesickness. Love you to death, Kazan. Will Kazan give me pure gold? When will he give it? Is it tonight? When will I wear it? When is the most beautiful moment? It's so hard to decide. No, I will definitely ask Kazan to give an opinion. Only with his consent, this king is willing to suspend the most beautiful moment. It is the duty of a concubine to stay at his favorite age. Drink wine, Shiki said in a normal tone. Kazan, hear this. Can't see it. Shiki poses as a queen all day long, and there is never a lot of inner drama. Is it up to me to decide the most beautiful moment? The awareness is really high. I really know how to please men. Kazan smiled. He quietly, BJBF, took the wine glass and took a sip. At this time, Shiki walked over with a proud face. After all, the pirates made another big deal. In front of members of the Flying Pirates, Shiki naturally has to put on a majestic display. At the same time, Shiki has also heard about pure gold from the card, and of course knows that pure gold is a rare treasure that can keep the strong at their peak. In this case, Shiki as the fishing people, full of sense of participation. As expected, Shiki's inner drama came to him immediately. You really deserve to be my brother. Brother, you are God. God forever. Another perfect plan. I admire you so much, brother. It's a pity that idiot of Newgate actually let the chosen Flying Pirates not join and chose to go to the remote rocks, that broken island of Hakanosu. How can I compare it to Sky Island? My brain is really long. Newgate may change his mind next time and follow our two brothers to rule the world. Kazan. Looking at it this way, Shiki is really a person with a strong sense of conquest. For the strong in the sea, Shiki has a strong desire to conquer. For example, I admired Roger too much. Shiki not only chased Roger all the way to the Atoll Sea area, surrounded him, and asked him to join the air fleet, but encountered a storm and received a large gift package for the rudder. Later, because Roger was arrested, he made a big fuss in Marineford and was finally captured by the Garp Sengoku group. He was beaten, imprisoned, and his legs were gone. It's good now. Shiki guy. Roger didn't start the bar, but he barged with Newgate, pure gold. Not at all in Shiki's mind at the moment. This fits his personality very well. Well, Boss Kazan, what was that glowing thing just now? Charlotte Lin jolted over. However, he was quickly stopped by Longbread. Lin, come, eat strawberry cake. Longbread quickly covered Lin's mouth with cake. Soon, Charlotte Lin's thinking was mobilized, and she ate happily. Longbread, I don't know about that thing either, but since the captain didn't say anything, there must be a reason. As a crew member, of course, don't ask. Lin, delicious. The strawberry cake is delicious. It's great to join the Flying Pirates. Find a way to get Molly and Moku on board. It's fun to have Titans on board. Lin wants to be a queen too, and live in a big room with Kazan and Jinchi. Kazan. Charlotte Lin is already starting to recruit for the pirate operation. It really is a talent. But what the hell is Lin sleeping in a big room when she is an empress? Then, Kazan faced the 50 or 60 people on the ship again, reading people's hearts over and over again. The quality of this batch of subordinates is not bad, and they have no bad intentions for the team. As for the two Titan, Molly being, but they had a strong curiosity about the Flying Pirates, an interesting team they had never met in their decades of sailing. At T. Lin's invitation, they decided to hitch a ride and play for a while. Of course, Kazan doesn't mind. Immediately, Kazan dispelled the Conqueror's mind reading. The whole world is much quieter. Reading people's hearts can be turned off, Kazan thought. The banquet ended after an hour. Nuxus, in the hall. This is the meeting place for the crew on the pirate ship. IT has the function of a living room, and it is similar to the hall in the palace. Every pirate group has such a place. There is not enough space on the ship, so it can only be on the island. At the moment, there is only Kazan, Shaki, and more. Soon, a piece of pure gold the size of a quail egg was taken out from the space by Kazan. The golden light radiated instantly, illuminating the entire hall. Brother, is this pure gold? It really is a treasure of heaven and earth. You can tell it's worth a lot at a glance. Shiki's eyes were filled with golden light, and he couldn't help sighing. Kazan took out a blueprint of the ring design and handed it to Shaki. Pure gold can emit light on its own, so this light must be covered up. In Heart of Gold, the yellow-haired child wears a silver ring, and a grain of pure gold is installed inside the ring. As long as the pure gold touches the skin, time can be obtained. Pause effect. Kazan intends to do the same. Wearing pure gold is not enough to show off. The pure gold special effect is almost the same as Sengoku opening Kotai Buddha at any time. Shaki understood in seconds. Immediately, lay metallurgy was used to make a gold ring according to the design drawings. Kazan isolated a pure gold the size of a grain of rice, put it in a gold ring, and hand it to Shiki. This gold ring is designed to be turned left and right. Turn it right to the limit, and the pure gold inside the ring will be exposed and touch the skin of your finger on the inside. At that time, your body will stop functioning. Timing, Shiki, take it for yourself. Shiki took the gold ring and looked it over. Well, I'll think about it. Sure enough, the ring was turned to the left, and the glowing solid gold was hidden. Twist to the right, and it's exposed and glowing. However, when worn on the finger, neither state can be seen. Didn't think much about it. Shiki directly adjusted the pure gold to the hidden state and directly put the gold ring with pure gold on the little finger of his left hand. If you want to gain combat effectiveness, you must let your physical fitness grow. At least wait until 30 or 40 years old. Say it. Then, Kazan looked at Shaki, who was looking at him. Shaki immediately refused and said with doubts, I don't need it for now. Wait until you think I need to use pure gold, then give it to me. I'm not old yet, right? Kazan, if I say that you are beautiful now, you will probably fall asleep with pure gold in your arms. As for Kazan himself, he relies on the system to become stronger. When he peaks depends entirely on the progress of the system. Therefore, he can wear pure gold at any time. Today, he should not wear it. Think about it. No tangles. Kazan suddenly said, By the way, I just awakened an ability. Look, Do you have any special feelings? Boom. At the moment, Kazan immediately releases Conqueror's mind reader. The movement is slight and the movement is very small. But time. Shiki suddenly exclaimed, I feel that someone is observing me with a color of knowledge and knowledge, but it is different from the general color of knowledge and knowledge. It is the feeling of the banquet on the deck that time. I did not notice. Shiki immediately used his momentum to directly block Kazan's reading hearts. Shaki has also noticed it and can also block the reading of people's hearts. In this regard, Kazan returns to the first conclusion. A person with strong strength can detect and resist the invasion of reading people's hearts. But Kazan didn't stop there, but shot directly, put his hand on Shaki's neck, and immediately used the reader to read people's hearts. As a result, no matter how Shaki resisted, he couldn't stop being robbed. Take memory, worship, lovely lovesickness, building an Amazon lily. A series of beautiful memories entered Kazan's mind one after another. He also got the second conclusion of reading people's hearts. If the opponent is in a weak state or is in a suppressed state, they will not be able to resist being read, invade the brain, and even rob memory. Soon, after the experiment, Kazan went back to his room. Take a bath. Shaki was already waiting on the bed. Fortune value is very important. Maybe it can really bring good luck. Then the next step is to actively increase the fortune value. Kazan muttered, Wanakuni is the best choice. Tian Yueshue is the best woman in Zaidabayu. She is in Wanakuni. I haven't seen you for a year, and I must have grown up a bit. Putting Tian Yueshue and an empress like Shaki together is a completely different feeling. More critically, Kazan had heard from Tian Yueshue before that there are a large number of hidden sword mounds in the underground of Wanakuni, and there are famous swords and demon swords buried in the sword mounds. Now he has treasure hunting. Radar, these famous knives can be included in the income. Kazan is a swordsman, and he already has first-generation ghost. He has no need for famous knives. However, every famous knife can increase the fortune value. Keep all the famous knives in your pocket and touch them slowly in the future to keep your fortune at full value at any time. Hang up, isn't it getting bigger and bigger? At the moment, Kazan, who wants to know, enters into a wonderful night. In the early morning, the sea surface scattered. A figure appeared in the waters of Mokavik in a small boat. Stussy bit his lip, holding 2 reward orders in his hand. Looking at the already calm sea in her beautiful eyes, she fell into deep thought. Some time ago, she stopped her scientific experiments and chose to go to sea to find the antidote of time. With hard work, Stussy also got some information. In the waters of Mokavik, there is the legendary island Gyurtami, where is the origin of the treasure pure gold, and pure gold is the best medicine for eternal youth, but unfortunately she only got to some pure gold information. It is said that Gyurtami was eaten by a big fish. All shiny pure gold just disappear into the world and become legendary. Stussy, who got the news, undoubtedly in a state of collapse. I was devastated just after going out to sea. Is it getting farther and farther away from eternal youth? But it seems to be destined. Just last night, Stussy in a small boat while drifting in this sea. I saw with my own eyes the huge lantern that illuminated the entire sky. It was a fish, but the lantern fish was chopped off by a great swordsman and finally took away the glowing lantern. Stussy realizes that the inside of the lantern may be pure gold from legendary. Pure gold that can make people live forever. He watched the 2 floating figures fly away in a huge pirate ship. Stussy raised his hand and glanced at the wanted poster. Kazan, Shiki, Air Pirates. Pure gold is in your hands. Present. Stussy picked up the phone bug and dialed without thinking. Blue, blue, blue. 66-066. In the bewildered Tianyue family, the eldest lady was raped by the golden retriever, seeking subscription. After a few days of sailing, Wanakuni, Kazan took Shiki Shaki with a dozen or so men, walked the streets of the Flower City. The rest, such as the Titans, the pirates before Lin Lin, etc., stayed on the news in the sky. Only Kazan as a great swordsman. The saber should be placed in a convenient place at all times, and you will not get used to it if you don't touch it for a day. However, considering that the first-generation Guiche is like a black knife, it is a national treasure of Wanakuni, and almost all famous family members know its appearance. Wearing the first-generation guiche here is a bit ostentatious. After all, the last time first-generation Onitsu was stolen, it caused a sensation to Wanakuni. Dozens of members of the Mitsuda family were beheaded and exiled. If you are misunderstood as the one who stole it, that would be bad. First-generation Ghost Toru was taken out of the Wanakuni border by the Mitsuda family and almost became the saber in the hands of the five elders. Kazan snatched it, so naturally it is not a steal. When can being a pirate be associated with stealing? Only. In order to save unnecessary trouble, Izan specially included the first-generation ghost into the space. There is no saber at the waist. It is empty, and I always feel that something is missing. No. On both sides of the streets of the capital of flowers, there are a lot of shops, and a scent of oil wafts out. Charlotte and Lin mingle with the female warriors. In her chubby hands, she holds a variety of Wanakuni specialties and keeps sending them to her mouth. The female warriors also love Lin very much, knowing that her constitution is different from ordinary people, and she is especially edible. If there is something delicious, I tiptoe and deliver it to Lin's mouth. Well, Lin is so happy. Thank you. Well. Being fed, Charlotte and Lin happily swallowed the food with a look of intoxication. Large and small strings. Seeing this scene, Zan couldn't help but think of the four emperors in later generations. The contrast is too great, and I can't help complaining in my heart. Really, this baby is hard to raise. Hurry up and grow up, Lin. Shiki held Kazan's arm favorably and whispered in his ear, "A few mornings ago, the person who called himself Bakingum Stussy called us and said to make an appointment to meet at a place, and I set the place at Wanakuni. Calculating the time, it will probably be days later." Kazan nodded. He was right next to the phone bug. "Stussy's ship can't fly, it's slow, and we'll be in Wanakuni for a while anyway. It doesn't matter if you wait a while, let's go. Go to the Tion family. Buckingham Stussy, also called Miss Bajin. Under normal circumstances, it is estimated that it will not be long before she will join the Rocks Pirates. Later, he will become a cadre like Dohayan. Stussy is also a scientist. After the disbandment of the Rocks group, he also established the science department with Vegapunk, Vincimo Kujudge, Quinn, Sagai, and others, and used his own genetic technology to make human clones. The ageless queen of the Pleasure District, Stussy. The clone Stussy is a cadre lurking in CP0 and chooses to bounce back on Danjian Island. What Kazan didn't know was, the clone Stussy is as beautiful as a flower. Bakingum Stussy, who is the main body now. At young age. What will it look like again? Anyway, the other party took the initiative to come to the door, so Kazan naturally would not refuse to meet. I didn't say the reason clearly on the phone. It was mysterious, forget it. Anyway, he has the ability to read people's hearts. When we meet, we will know what the hell the other party is going to do. 10 minutes later, Kazan and his party came to the gate of the Tianyue family. Tianyue's family is a quaint mansion. It is similar to the residence of ancient princes and nobles, with a few big characters gilded on the door plaque. Tianyue family. At this moment, the gate of Tianyue's house was full of warriors. There is a lot of buzz, and people who watch it will suffer from intensive phobia. Bustling and noisy. But it was still passed into the ears of Kazan. Tianyue family traitors colluded with outsiders to steal the national treasure of Wanakuni, hand them over, and all of them will die. Attention everyone, Tianyuexu, the eldest daughter of the Tianyue family, is colluding with outsiders. She is the one who stole Wanakuni's national treasure, first-generation Onitoru, and has nothing to do with our Mitsuda family. Our Hirota family is innocent. TSK. I never expected that the Tianyue family would collude with pirates to steal national treasures and lead disasters to the Guangtian family. The Tianyue family should all be expelled, beheaded. Don't open the door again. The warriors will use violence to enter. Bastard Tianyue family, not worthy of being a famous family of Wanakuni. Oh. The news that first-generation Onitoru was in my hands actually reached Wanakuni, who had no information. Isn't this a bit strange? Kazan glanced over. Conqueror's slight release, used to read people's minds, aimed at a favorite samurai called. So, Kazan knew the specific process of the matter from the other party's mind. Here's the thing. This person is a member of the Guangtian family, Ever since he was expelled because of his family's treason, his family members received an arrest warrant from the Kazan brothers in the sea. The photo of Kazan on the reward order and the saber in his hand are none other than first-generation Guiche. The Mitsuda family took a look. What happened? First-generation Onitsu is actually in the hands of a blonde pirate. What's more, the blonde swordsman brothers set up the ring to single out wandering warriors from all walks of life and later challenged several big families. The story has already spread in the streets and alleys. Many people in Wanakuni know that the two brothers are the celebrities in Wanakuni's mouth. Among them Kazan. He even went shopping with Tianya Ishua. The two behaved intimately, hugging each other. Even hugged and landed from the sky. In this situation, the Mitsuda family is excited. You can't be a noble in the world, but you can be a famous family of Wanakuni if you have a chance. Present. The Mitsuda family returned to Wanakuni to recast the family glory in order to get rid of treason charges. An idea came to mind. They collected a lot of Kazan's arrest warrants, fabricated the news that Kazan joined forces with the Tianyue family's eldest lady, Tianyuexu, to steal Wanakuni's national treasure first-generation HA, and spread it out wantonly, instantly hanging a violent wave in Wanakuni whirlwind. In just one day, all the warriors believed this to be true. Immediately became angry with the Tianyue family. Now is the time to settle accounts with the Tianyue family collectively. Only then did the scene of the samurai besieging Tianyue's house begin. Yo-ho, this time I came to Wanakuni to have some fun. Since everyone in Wanakuni knows that the first-generation ghost is in my hands. Is that so? Call out. The first-generation ghost appeared in Kazan's hand instantly. Pin it on your waist generously. At the same time, the Tianyue family mansion. The conference hall was full of people. The patriarch and retainers all came here to gather, with anxious expressions on their faces. What's going on? What's going on? Our Tianyue family never stole the first-generation Guiche. Did Missy do it? Impossible. Have you been surrounded? This is a big problem. It must be solved. If first-generation Guiche is related to Tianyue family, proved to be true, the Yu family will be against the entire Wanakuni that day. What a famous family. All fame will be deprived in an instant, and all the background accumulated will be wiped out in an instant. Facing the innocent and wronged Tianyue, the maid held her little hand tightly and comforted her. Miss, it's fine, the owner will take care of it, don't worry. Face such things. Tianyue was also a little at a loss. Her eyes became a little dazed. What's going on, Xiaoxue? As the head of the family, Tianyue Songren also wanted to know the specific situation. What's the matter? When I woke up, the whole Wanakuni was rumored that the Tianyue family united with the pirates to steal the Wanakuni national treasure first-generation Onitoru, and then blamed it on the Mitsuda family, and now surrounded the Tianyue family's mansion. This kind of thing, Tianyue Song people also feel inexplicable. Tianyue was naturally wronged. It is obvious that the Guangtian family has been tried and the case has been closed, which has become an ironclad fact. How come it's only been a year and it's changed again? And the target is Kazan. Kazan. Why? Tianyue's expression was a little dazed, and she came to her senses only after she settled down. Then the voice of justice and sternness came out. Father. As early as a year ago, the Mitsuda family admitted that they found the sword mount of first-generation Onitsu on the Curry Rock Wall, and after several years of planning, they contacted people from the outside and wanted to exchange first-generation Onitsu for Mariwa noble status. The entire plan has been announced, and all the evidence has been confiscated and archived. How can it be faked? The one who stole the first-generation Onitoru is the Mitsuda family. Hearing this, Tianyue Songren nodded. As the patriarch of the daimyo family, he also personally participated in the trial of the Mitsuda family. It is natural to know that members of the Guangtian family have pleaded guilty and confessed everything, and the chain of evidence is quite complete. It's true, no doubt. But the problem is, what about my daughter and that Kazan and Tiansong people are also ahead of water? Now Kazan is holding a wanted warrant from first-generation Onitsu, which is spread throughout Wanakuni. Many citizens also confirmed that they saw Kazan and Tianyue together. Relationships are tangled. Then tell me, who is this person? Songren pointed to Kazan's photo. Tianyue's heart suddenly turned cold. She doesn't know why the first-generation ghost is in Kazan's hands. Perhaps it was the belief in her heart. Tianxue said directly, I'm a woman from Kagwan. What? Everyone present was dumbfounded. Nanny, when did it happen? No. Miss, you are too unrestrained. Don't you see how old you are? Moreover, that Kazan obviously came to Wanakuni not long ago, even less than a month, and then disappeared without a trace. And his identity is not from a famous family, this kind of scumbag. How do you? Then I can't help it. The young master of so many famous families in Wanakuni. Are they unspirited? No. Is the samurai spirit enough? Seeking flowers. 0. When all the retainers looked confused. As Tainuexu's father, Tianue Songren, his scalp exploded instantly when he heard these words. My own daughter. Without anyone noticing, he was raped by the golden retriever? No, true or false. Absurd. It's ridiculous. Already, Tianue Songren fell into a bewilderment. Kazan owns lion fruit and enters the boudoir of a family dame. Like walking on flat ground, silently. During that time, he slept on Tainuexu's bed every day. The two often linger until dawn. There's nothing undeniable. It's the truth. Tianue did not hesitate and continued to confirm again. Everyone in the Tianue family who heard this was completely silent. Although the women in Wanakuni have a more enthusiastic personality, they still care about chastity. Many women in the prostitutes are just performing arts and not selling themselves. Especially the ladies of those big families. I have been taught etiquette in related aspects since I was a child. The loss of a young lady of a family means there is no chance for the Tianue family to go further. After all, Tainuexu is the only descendant of the entire Tianue family at present. If a person is perfect, if he is set off by someone, there will be no possibility of marriage with a famous person. Naturally, the family cannot be promoted. At this moment, Tianue Songren felt as if he had fallen into an abyss and mire, and his whole body couldn't stop trembling. Now being labeled a treason, and her own daughter admits that the close relationship with the blonde boy is even more frightening, that the first-generation Guiche is in the hands of the blonde boy. Howdawash. I'm afraid that if they contact other big families now, they will not stand by the Tianue family. Even letting her daughter get married in exchange for respite is completely gone. Tianue family, is it over? At a time when everyone is deeply desperate. An anxious voice came from outside the door. It's not good, Master Patriarch. The samurai outside are about to rush in. Our samurai are blocking, have already fought, and some people have been injured. But Tianue Songren immediately took the case. What is it? Say it clearly. But that man named Kazan appeared. Yes. Kazan wearer first-generation Guiche, just outside the gate of the Tianue family. Silence. The whole hall suddenly became silent. Everyone never expected that at this time, the true master would appear, and he would also appear at the core of the fierce conflict. What's even more frightening is that in his hand, there is actually a ghost of first generation. What's the situation? In the territory of Wanakuni, wear the national treasure on your body. Is he going to make an enemy of the entire Wanakuni? Miss, the maid yelled. In an instant, Tianue ran outside crying. No matter how wrong she was before, she did not cry. But now just heard that Kazan is outside the door. Tianue couldn't bear it anymore and ran out without any scruples. At this moment, outside Tianue's house, Kazan, Shiki, Shaki, Linlin, completely ignoring all kinds of warriors around them, the dozen or so people naturally walked forward step by step towards the gate of Tianue's house. And Kazan has a famous knife pinned to his waist. First-generation Guiche. First-generation Onitsu swayed slightly following Kazan's walking rhythm, showing haki with the supreme sharp knife. It is said to be the pioneering work of the Wanakuni sword. All the swordsmen in Wanakuni have heard of legendary by Anato from first generation. See you now. The surrounding warriors were all in a state of bewilderment. The warriors who originally planned to attack Tianue's family stopped their actions one after another. First generation ghost. Sure enough, he stole the national treasure first generation Onitoru. Which blonde brat? Rub rub. The sound of swords being drawn rang out in unison at this moment. Hundreds of knives pointed at Kazan at this moment. The originally wide street now has a 3-meter wide route. In the middle, Kazan and others are walking nonchalantly, and on both sides are sword-wielding warriors with swords drawn. Brother, I hate these samurai. Shouldn't they all be killed? Shiki walked and said flatly. Shiki knows a lot about samurai, and when he set up a ring, the samurai who came up were all flamboyant, holding scraps of copper and iron, and tried to take away the gold cup. This kind of character that I can't afford to lose made Shiki tireless. If it wasn't for the acquisition of Sakura Tokiko later, Shiki would be in a good mood, and maybe he would do it that day to solve a bunch of unpleasant things. Warrior. Although Shiki is Wanakuni's teacher, but it belonged to Liang Yu's family. He has no feelings for other warriors. Now I see that the surrounding warriors are all drawing their swords and pointing at my big brother. Who do they think they are? Shiki became murderous. It's just a bunch of dead people. Shiki's words just fell. The surrounding warriors gritted their teeth, their cheeks puffed up, and their palms holding the knife were clenched even tighter. Also at this time, a crying voice came. Heavenly man. The next moment, a figure plunged into Kazan's arms. 67-067. Looting Wanakuni. Lin picking up souls. The guests have arrived. Tien Uexu. If you dare to step outside the house, I will banish you from Wanakuni. The Tianyue family has no place for you anymore. The angry voice of Tianyue, song from behind, has not yet come. The figure of Tien Uexu has disappeared in the meeting hall regardless. Bang. Tiel. A delicate, soft voice came. The softness came so suddenly, Kazan was a little surprised to hold it. In fact, Kazan came to Wanakuni with the original purpose of taking away those famous wild knives so that he could increase his luck at any time in the future. He didn't expect that the matter of first-generation Guiche would change. She never thought that she would meet Tian Ueshue under such circumstances. If not, Stussy offered to meet. Kazan won't stay in Wanakuni for an extra day either. No. He decided to take Tian Ueshue aboard tonight. Grown-ups. In Tien Uexu's tearful eyes, there's actually a hint of coquettishness. Kazan patted her on the back. It's okay. Tian Ueshue saw another famous knife on Kazan's waist. Subconsciously asked, first-generation Guiche, is it really in the hands of the adults? I snatched it from an old guy in Marietwa. Kazan put his arms around Tien Uexu, feeling the surrounding warriors eager to try, and the first-generation Guiche got out of his sheath immediately. Immediately, a layer of hazy white mist appeared on the blade, and the cold light circulated in the thick mist, clearly reflecting the surrounding things, and the whole space was accompanied by a trace of humming. Human knife is one. The unity of human and sword is a state. When the human and the sword reach a certain tacit understanding, the famous sword will cooperate with the master to do some things. Tian Ueshua's eyes brightened. She is very familiar with famous knives. When a certain situation occurs on a demon knife, it means that there is a connection between the knife and its owner. It is a rare thing that a demon knife recognizes its owner. Give it away for free. Why does the demon sword devour the Lord? 763 inch. In the final analysis, the master is too weak. The sword is not convinced. Knowing that Kazan got the first-generation Guiche, Tian Ueshue was full of worries. After all, it is a demon sword with endless demon power. And now, between Kazan and first-generation Guiche, there is actually a state of unity of human and sword. First-generation Onitoru has recognized Kazan as the master. See here. Tian Ueshue also stopped asking about the origin of first-generation Guiche and even showed a trace of pride on his face. This knife has recognized the master. Maybe the master is the master it has been waiting for. Belongs to the famous sword luck. Hundreds of warriors around saw Kazan pull out the first-generation ghost. The eldest lady of Tianyue's family is still cuddling with Kazan. The latest rumors are true. The two team up to steal Wanakuni's national treasure. Immediately, someone stood up. Hey, you bastard, hand over the first-generation ghost. The Tianyue family colluded with the pirates. Stealing the famous knife should be punished in the street. Put down first-generation Onitoru, and you kid, the Sakura Tokakuru in your hand also belongs to Wanakuni Kurizumi's family. Keep them together, otherwise, none of you will be able to leave today. Just hearing the mentally retarded remarks of the surrounding warriors, Yuzan couldn't help but stop laughing. No wonder Kaido violently occupied Wanakuni. Every move was watched by a large crowd of melon eaters. Even when Odin was put into the frying pan, these samurai just kept their mouths shut. He looked innocent. When something really happened, these samurai would not go up. Kazan doesn't have to be reasonable. Directly swing the knife and draw 2 sword chi. The sword energy slashed parallel to the outside along the street. 2 sword marks 1 meter deep were directly demarcated. Brush, brush. The clogs under the samurai's feet were cut in half, and the toes jumped up, shooting out pillars of blood in the air. Soon, my toes. The warriors rolled all over the ground in pain, wailing everywhere. The samurai who was not cut down resolutely retreated and took a big step, with a terrified expression and a dazed scene. What a powerful cut. It's dangerous. Another inch will cut off your own foot. After all, it is on the territory of the Tainuexu family, and the little beauty is in his arms. Kazan still kept a little bit of sense. Killing here is too disrespectful to the little beauty. Don't cross the line. Otherwise, a dead end. Facing the warning, the faces of the warriors were instantly cold. Damn. It is said that they have won quite a few Wanakuni samurai before. Will it kill the first one to rush up? Only. There were also courageous warriors who took a step directly, with a look on their faces of, we have a lot of people. What can you do to me? I have a try. But others just took a step. A strange laugh sounded immediately. Well, you've crossed the line. Lin got it. How dare you disobey the orders of Boss Kazan? I don't want to live. Charlotte Lin didn't even think about it, and instantly activated the ability of the soul fruit. Pink's hair danced wildly as if blown by the wind. The terrifying aura exploded, causing the warriors to flee in fright. Life or wedding cake? Leave or life? Soul mantra, he. Buzz buzz. Accompanied by Lin's terrifying laughter, the coercion that made the soul tremble swept away. Moment. Several samurai felt uncontrolled constriction of the heart. Boom, boom, boom. Their heartbeats seemed to speed up 10,000 times at this moment. Then, their bodies were emitting white flames, rolling milky white, sticky white smoke. What's the matter with the white smoke? What the hell are these things? What happened to me? Wait, can't you see? I have a ghost on me. Get out of the way. I need water to put out the fire. The warriors looked terrified and kept asking the people around them. Those who hadn't been affected, however, were stupefied when they saw this scene. Are you crazy? There is nothing. What nonsense. Charlotte grabbed Lin's big hand, and a massive white soul was torn out. Come on. Come this way, fool. Well. With a flash of pink light, a cloud-like ghost suddenly appeared on Lin's body. It is very cartoony with teeth and claws. The street was not wide at first, and there were so many people crowded at once. When I saw someone in the Kazan crowd making a move, the samurai behind didn't understand the situation. At the same time, they all rushed up at the same time. The situation in the whole street was out of control in an instant, like a stampede accident. Out of line. Out of line. You are all going to die. Lin and Shiki's eyes burst into red light, and they shot at the same time. One knife one. Japanese knifesmith. Grab one, grab a slice. Kazan originally planned to make a move, but he completely forgot that besides Shiki, Lin, a violent element, was also on board. Although Charlotte Lin is only 13 years old, she became a soul person when she was 6 years old. Although not to mention the depth of development. But she herself possesses the soul power that makes everyone's soul tremble. Where do ordinary people encounter ghosts like souls? But when you are frightened, it means that you can't escape the control of the soul fruit. The cleaning process is very fast. In less than 10 minutes, hundreds of corpses were lying on the street. The warriors were frightened and ran for their lives, frantically rolling and crawling. Terrible. Terrible. What? What was that just now, ghost? Nightmare. She is a frightening devil. Crazy words spread all over the streets and alleys. Seeing that the samurai wanted to escape, Shiki and Lin released Conqueror's haki at the same time, sweeping through every street in an instant, causing these miscellaneous fish to foam at the mouth and collapsed at the foot of various walls. Lin jumped left and right, joyfully picking up souls on the street. It looks like the picture of little girl picking mushrooms. Well. You just crossed the line. Remember you. Bring me. See Lin killing the quartet. The Amazon Lily warrior brought by Kazan couldn't help being amazed. The reason why Lin can eat is found. It's so powerful. The air slowly quietened as the last samurai fell. At this time, the members of the Tianyue family came out from the clan land. Seeing Tianyue, the retainers remained silent. Sure enough, The eldest lady has been abducted by that man. Did they kill all these samurai in front of you? Wanakuni samurai, when did you become so vulnerable? No way. It's fake. The head of the family, Tianyue Song, blushed like a purple eggplant. But when he saw the corpses all over the street, he didn't know how to deal with it for a short time. He would only be dumbfounded, and the incident continued to develop. Anyway, he couldn't say a word. At the same time, people from the 6 major families arrived one after another, and they were immediately shocked by the scene in front of them. Hiss. The rumors are true. The first generation Onitsu is in the hands of that kid named Kazan. Did they kill all these warriors? This is a felony. First generation Onitoru must be brought back to the ancestral hall for enshrining. The samurai of the Kazuki family stepped forward and spoke with a serious expression. Master Kazan has merged with the first generation Guiche Rendo. It is a blessing for the demon sword to recognize the master. Anyone who knows the famous sword will not hinder this kind of thing. Wei Yongshi frowned and explained. Do you know what you were talking about? Tianyue Songrin was disappointed to ultimate. He actually helped an outsider to speak. Now, the whole Wanakuni is rumored that the #1 beauty, Tianyue Shue, has been abducted by outsiders. Needless to say, it's now confirmed. Tianyue Songrin, as the head of the Tianyue family, naturally has a dull old face. He even felt that Tianyue Shue had completely disgraced his family. Seeing Tianyue Shue defending Kazan again at this moment, she was instantly out of breath. Stop talking nonsense. There is no way that first-generation Onitsu will leak out of Wanakuni. The 6 Wanakuni families will never allow this to happen. Put down the knife. This matter is over. The representatives of the 6 major families looked at Kazan's combat power report and could only take a step back, pointing at Kazan and the others. A good knife cannot be left here to collect dust. Kazan didn't even raise his eyes. If you want to take my knife away, just try. It doesn't matter if you go together. 1 asterisk asterisk. The samurai of the Kazuki family just wanted to make a move, but the words did not finish, and the sword was not pulled out. Brush. Call out. In an instant, a faint green sword light streaked across. The huge light illuminates everything around. Kazuki samurai. Kazan's slash, along with a large building behind him, was split in 2. The buildings on the same line in the entire flower capital seemed to have been cut in half. The huge cut on the wall is shocking to watch. Buzz buzz. The huge sound of sword cries rippling back and forth in the neat and smooth sword marks, resounding back and forth in the heads of everyone. Many people's faces were distorted by the sword energy at this moment. The people of the 6 major families all stared at the same place at the moment, their expressions already dumbstruck. What's the situation? Is this a slash that humans can issue? Sword God Dragon Horse/Dragon is nothing more than that. Such a great swordsman. No one in Wanakuni can resist. I can't afford it. Indeed, after Ryoma and before Odin, Wanakuni's samurai are 2 scumbag. Kazan Scabbard's first-generation Onitoro. If you still have an opinion, you can try again. I promise, you won't survive a second. What he said is probably true. Kazan glanced over, and the Wanakuni warriors frowned and took a step back. Soon, half a minute of silence passed. Seeing people around, do not speak. Kazan continued, who said inside just now that the Tianyue family no longer has Tianyuexu's position, and Tianyuexu is going to be exiled. I want to ask, where is the exile? Tianyue retainer. Seeing that no one spoke, Kazan said again, I took Tianyuexu away, and I will come back later. In addition, we 2 brothers are very interested in unclaimed objects in the wild. If someone stops us from treasure hunting and thinks that those unowned objects are Wanakuni national treasures, I will blame every family who came here. Time passed. Wait until Kazan and others left. On sight. Heavy panting sounded one after another. What a terrifying swordsmanship. Does such a swordsman really exist? Go back and report to the patriarchs of the major families. Wanakuni is a great person. This kind of swordsman is not something we can deal with. Give up. A vassal of the Tianyue family said, Patriarch Song, Miss Shi. Missy is just out for a trip, and we'll be back later. Tianyue Songrin was helpless. The rumors have come true. Tianyue Shue's performance made Songrin's heart ache. But faced with a warning from a great swordsman of Kazan's level, the Insong people dare not repeat the words of expelling Tianshue from the family. When night falls on Wanakuni, The sound of broken altars exploded in the ancestral hall. Report, Blood Moon's altar is broken. Thundercloud's altar shattered. Report. The successive reports made the 6 major families of Wanakuni confused. Robbery. Wanakuni will be hollowed out by them. Impossible. How did they find those sword mounts? Go crazy. How can he do this? In the night, Kazan and Shiki flew 4.7 in every corner of Wanakuni. Shiki, there's another one down there. Keep digging. Here we come. Shiki rubbed his hands together and acted immediately. Through the treasure hunting radar, Kazan looks for the sword mounds that hide famous swords. The demon knife dug up by Zhong has not been touched yet. Zan put it into space. Although the ranking of famous knives is only the top 12 big knives, 21 big knives, and 50 good knives, there are a total of 83 famous knives. But many famous knives and demon knives are not recorded. It doesn't make any difference that they are masterpieces of forged craftsmanship. As long as it appears on the treasure hunting radar, you can extract the fortune value. Kazan has no reason to miss any of them. As for those in the hands of the Wanakuni daimyo, Kazan thinks about it or forgets. After all, don't overdo it. The moonlight is getting stronger. The Kazan brothers unearthed a total of 53 famous knives that can increase fortune. Unfortunately, Kazan did not find the signal of the most evil warship in history, Pluton Pluto, in Wanakuni. He knew that Pluton was sleeping in Wanakuni. We could only guess that either the Pluton burial site is more than 500 meters away, beyond the search range of treasure hunting radar, or it is not within the radar detection range. However, it doesn't matter. When there is a chance to break the stone wall and drain the water in the inner sea, Pluton will naturally appear. Now is obviously not the time. Time passed, and 15 days passed in a blink of an eye. Wanakuni, Channel Waterfall. News West. Kazan touched 16 of the famous knives before raising his fortune to full value. The 53 famous knives immediately consumed 1/3. If there are capable subordinates who are good at swordsmanship, Kazan is willing to share a few of them. However, since the fortune has reached full value, I look forward to the next good luck. Stussy, here she comes. Shaki reminded from the side. Kazan looked at a small boat floating in the distance, can't help but twitch. How did the Stussy manage to navigate the waters of the New World with such a small ship? 68068. How elegant you are when boarding the boat, how embarrassed you are after being abused, please decide. This is information about Wanakuni Liquor Iron Mine and Sea Stone. I have sorted it out. Let's look back. Stussy is here. Shaki remembered what Shiki once said to Kazan. My brother, he never does useless things. Everything he does is planned. It is a seamless plan. It has been like this since childhood. Now it seems that Shiki's description is very appropriate. Liquor iron ore? Sea stone. If Kazan hadn't come to Wanakuni, he would have asked Shaki to inquire about relevant information. She had never heard of such a thing in the world. Moreover, the more you investigate, the more important this or will become. After all, the era is still early, and these 2 rare ores only became famous in Grand Line after Kaido became the general agent of Wanakuni. The more you sell, the more crazy you are. Even sold to Merhua through Mingo the Clown. It's also reasonable that not many people know about it these days. Shaki had to admire that Kazan's intelligence was called key intelligence. Own information. That's something that's been advertised across the seas. The value is completely different. Received information. Kazan income space. Liquor iron or sea stone and even historical tech stones are Wanakuni's unique minerals, which are used to make exclusive weapons and will be sold very expensive. Of course, this era is not as flourishing as the era of great navigation, but things like resources can be arranged in advance. When the power of the flying pirates reaches a certain scale, people can be assigned to manage IT.AT that time. Those mentally handicapped warriors can go to the mines. The information has arrived. Tian Shuiyue is also managing the famous knives dug out of Jianjing. Among the famous knives inside, 2 have been confirmed to be the 21 knives of the Big Fast Knife. In the future, if there are capable swordsmen on board, they can be rewarded. This trip to Wanakuni has yielded a lot. Soon, Stussy's boat arrives below. The boat was lifted up by a jet of water turned into a seawater and went up with a clatter, like an elevator, until it reached the Nuxus. During the whole process, Stussy looked incredible. I was afraid that I would fall into the sea. It's a waste of your well-prepared makeup. Stepping on the deck with red high heels, Stussy smiled politely at everyone, and her beautiful eyes immediately fixed on Kazan in the C position. With the arrival of Stussy, Titan family, members of the pirate group before Lin Lin, and some Amazon Lily warriors. 19. At this moment, the collective is dumbfounded. No, it's too beautiful. Sophisticated feeling. Empress Shaki, who had the aura of an emperor first, came up 15 days ago with Tianyueshue, who was like a beautiful jade, and today came as Stussy. What's the situation? Is there a beauty pageant on the news? Why are all the C's stunning? Everyone looked at it. Stuss wears a white plaid parasol. There is a round hat on the head with embroidered pink roses on the brim, and a head of slightly curly soft blonde hair underneath. The facial features are so delicate that they cannot be described in words. Elegant mouth, Jean blue eyes as delicate as a Barbie doll. White shawl flutters with the wind, and the orange-red skirt with patterns is made of lace. A pair of long legs extend from under the skirt, straight and well-proportioned. The red high-heeled shoes on the soles of Stussy and the pink roses on the head echo each other, forming a visual whole. The outfit looks very advanced, and people can't help but look from top to bottom, and from bottom to top, never get tired of it. It's nothing but pleasing to the eye. Hello. Stussy smiled and greeted everyone gracefully. Then he came to Kazan. This is Kazan, the captain of the air pirates. Is the pure gold in his hands? As long as you get the pure gold, you can stay young forever. Great, great. Finally able to touch the baby of my dreams. The moment he saw Kazan, Stussy's thoughts kept popping up. However, before she could speak the second sentence, she felt a strange sense of knowledge enveloped her, and the next moment, Stussy felt that she was being targeted by a wild beast, like a prey. Where did it come from? What a nasty feeling. Kazan? Does he think I'm pretty too? Immediately, Stussy mobilized his breath. Block out that strange probing force. Oh, narcissistic woman. There are quite a lot of ideas. Where did she get the news? She actually wants to get pure gold from me. Pure gold can't be exposed casually. Pure gold is the reason why Stussy proposed to meet. The hockey's strength is not bad, and he can detect being spied on. After all, he will be on the rock ship in the future. Fortunately, there is a branch of reading people's hearts. Otherwise, Stussy is a thunder. Big thunder that can cause trouble. When Stussy boarded the ship, Kazan used her knowledge to read people's hearts and locked her in. When Stussy realized, Kazan had already read her. She was completely belated. But Kazan already understood Stuss' purpose. Pure gold. What are you thinking? If you know this secret, you may not be able to get off the boat. Present. Kazan mobilized the wind fruit directly, and the sails of the Nuxus immediately blew, sailing towards the next destination in an instant. Stussy's boat, which lost the floating support of Lion Fruit's ability, fell directly into the sea, smashed to pieces, and strange parts burst out one after another and fell into the sea 10 by 1. What are you doing? That's my boat. Stussy threw away the umbrella in his hand and ran towards the deck, watching helplessly as his boat split into several pieces and sank to the bottom of the sea. Totally panicked. What's the situation? How did he destroy his ship? The boat is full of crystallization of its own technology. Stussy went back to the deck angrily, wanting to question Kazan, why the flying pirates were so rude and why they destroyed their own boat. In a few minutes, Kazan didn't bother to argue with Stussy, so he put her in a private study. Sitting halfway on the desk, Ku opened his mouth. Stussy, tell me, what is your purpose for coming to me? Although it is knowingly asking. But Kazan decided to try Stussy's character. So far, he's very unhappy. This woman actually wanted to take pure gold from her hand. And she is so narcissistic that she thinks that she has the most beautiful appearance in the whole world. Of course, she is also beautiful, but she is at the same level as Shaki and Tianyueshue. But her temperament is just different. But under such circumstances, she thought she was invincible in the world for her beauty. What's more, Stussy is full of lies, even more naive. If this woman is dishonest, can only use strong means to forcibly take memory. The voice fell. Stussy suddenly felt a burst of pressure, turned around gracefully, put his hands on the bookshelf, took down a book, and held it in his hand. It is to avoid nervous movement of the hand and let Kazan notice it. Actually, before boarding the boat, Stussy originally sorted out a lot of words. But at the moment, Her mind was muddled. This was not the meeting she had envisioned. Make up your mind. Stussy squeezed the book tightly and said, Kazan, I want to join the Flying Pirates. I am a scientist, and my combat power is not bad. I think you should need someone like me on your ship. Hide your purpose first. Don't rush the matter of pure gold. Stussy vaguely made a decision. However, pure gold is what she dreams of. Her youth is urgent, and she doesn't want to wait for a second. Due to Kazan's deterrence, she can only postpone her goal contradictorily. When you really get the pure gold, turn around and leave immediately. Kazan laughed. Is that all? Exclamation point. Seeing Kazan's relaxed expression, Stussy thought there was something to be done, so he said firmly, You're not honest enough, Stussy. You're here for pure gold. After the words fell, Kazan smiled slightly. His eyes looked at Stussy more playfully. What? Stussy couldn't help but look a little shocked, but still maintained this elegant figure. How did he know his purpose? Nothing, Captain Kazan. I just want to join. But the story is not over. Stussy was grabbed by Kazan's neck and lifted up directly. The books she used to decorate also fell on the floor at this moment. You are too narcissistic, and you can't tell lies. I'm a pirate, not a fool. Kazan's hand tightened even more, grabbing Stussy's limp neck. I have to say that this woman is too delicate. Her neck is as soft as a silicone doll. Woo woo woo. You. Instantly, Kazan unleashed his menace. When a huge force came, Stussy felt that his neck would not be pinched, and he couldn't breathe. Wanted to call for help, but found that the soft moan spread and was absorbed by the books all over the bag. What frightened her even more was that she could actually feel. A piece of my own memory is being retrieved by the man in front of me. What kind of power is this? Why? Stussy hasn't recovered yet. Kazan's leisurely voice sounded. Parkingham Stussy just turned 17 7 days ago. New World, the 3rd kilometer of the Kingdom of Bohemia. Crazy about technology. When I was 5 years old, I developed a new type of weapon, and the kingdom used it to win wars of aggression. At the age of 8, he invented a number of convenient technologies and received a lot of research funding. After the age of 13, I started to study the drug experiment of eternal youth, but all ended in failure. I chose to go to sea at the age of 16. The purpose is to find time antidote. Obviously, it's an all-round scientist script. Actually thinking about eternal youth, you've gone astray. Under the strong readership, all of Stussy's memories are probed by Kazan. Kazan sighed secretly. Stussy is a technological all-rounder. Only at the age of 13, because of youth development, he began to care too much about his appearance, his personality became extreme, and he took the wrong path of research. To choose to study the dead end of longevity? Isn't it a pure waste of talent? Even Op Fruit's ability user needs to pay the price of life if they want to send people to immortality, which is enough to show how difficult immortality is and how buggy pure gold is. A character like Stussy fits with such a doomed research path. What kind of emotions are there in the afterlife? To study genes? Make clones? Beauty finally collapsed like that. It makes sense, too. It's the same as ants wasting their talents to have children. Kazan felt that it was indeed a pity. Please, let me go, I can't breathe. When Kazan's voice came, Stussy was shocked and sent a chill down his spine. I can only beg and give up struggling completely. The man in front of him can actually spy on people's inner world. Terrible. Is there any point in lying? Sorry, Master Kazan, I was wrong. I'm here for pure gold. Please make an offer. I am willing to pay any price. Whoa, please let me go. An offer? Kazan couldn't help laughing. Do you think I lack money? My pure gold can buy the whole world. Your proposal is not attractive to me. Me? Sorry. Stussy was suddenly incoherent. Kazan is right, he owns pure gold, so he owns the most precious treasure in the world. In the face of unlimited time, it is a very stupid decision to talk about money. But what else do you have besides money? The Kingdom of Bohemia only has money looted from wars. A stronger touch came, and Stussy almost despaired. About to lose consciousness. I can't just die like this. Dead bodies turn black and stink. For Stussy, who cares about beauty, turning into a corpse is no different from going to hell. Do not be like this. Whoa. 2 lines of tears rolled down his cheeks. Stussy was completely desperate, and Jean Blue's eyes were full of pleading. As long as you let me go, I will promise you anything. I beg 517, please be gentle. I'm literally dying. It may be that death is coming, and inspiration is boundless. Stussy immediately thought, he has an appearance that even he would be jealous of. Don't other people care? After going out to sea, I met so many people. Even the women's eyes were straightened. Kazan, who is holding her in front of her eyes, has so many beauties hidden on board. Isn't he a girl? As long as you sincerely beg, at least he won't destroy flowers with his hands. Perhaps. The kingdom of Bohemia belongs to slavery. As the third princess of the empire, Stussy also arranged slaves in the laboratory. These stupid slaves often made mistakes, and every time they knelt on the ground pitifully begging for mercy, a tea that time Stussy choose to forgive with kindness. Isn't it like the scene at the moment? Didn't you just make a mistake? Stussy moved his fingers subconsciously. Clatter. Shawls and suspender skirts fell on the ground, bringing a burst of fragrant wind. Body up and down. Only a rose hat and a pair of red high heels remain. Whoa. Can I? Owner, please let me go. Will you? Kazan. No way. Giving in so easily. Kazan is not so easy to fool, and immediately releases reading people's hearts. It was easy to read the message in Stussy's mind. Result. The woman's Stussy body, mind, and even soul unexpectedly completely surrendered at this moment. The reason turned out to be, when a person dies, they become bad and stink. Death is not scary, but it turned black and stinky, and all the beauty of the whole life disappeared. Better stay on board as a slave. If you show surrender, maybe. The master will also reward himself with a grain of pure gold. All right. How elegant you are when boarding the ship, how embarrassing it is after being abused. Kazan just threw Stussy on the desk. She was crying there in a strange posture, crying and crying. The makeup on her delicate face was all over. It was so pink and tender, not to mention ultimate. It was still a white tiger. Owner, can you forgive me? In this way, the voyage is still going on. However, Stussy has returned to his original character at the request of Kazan, the master. But asked by Kazan. The direction of her future research is entirely determined by Kazan. Stussy, who survived the catastrophe, was naturally extremely grateful and completely surrendered, because Kazan promised that as long as she behaved well, she would be rewarded with pure gold. This day, the explorer of the news holds binoculars in his hand. Come down like Kazan reported. Captain, Sleeping Island can already be seen, looking at the island as big as a sesame seed in the distance. Kazan little by little. And at the same time, what he doesn't know is, among the ruins of sleeping ancient town, there is a bright red figure wandering around. That man is Baloric Redfield. 69069, strongest control, bone fist conflict, Redfield. New world, sleeping ancient town. Also known as Torrance Town. This is an ancient island with many mysterious ruins and treasures. But after a long time, it is no longer testable. Like the destruction of a great kingdom, here too there is only history to be unearthed. Sleeping Ancient Town is still an uninhabited island in this era. The entire island is not big, but there are ancient ruins. Pirates have stayed at sea for a long time, and when they pass by, they will choose to visit the island. Find an open space, have a party or something. At the same time, Kazan knew that Sleeping Ancient Town wasn't just sitting on ancient islands. There is also a mysterious phantom beast devil fruit. Zoan, bat fruit, phantom beast vampire form. Vampire ability users can plunder other people's lifespan by sucking other people's blood. It can also make ability users return to a youthful state and even control their age. Take life. In Kazan's view, this is a rule system similar to Paramecia, a time-like ability. It is the strongest control skill in the whole pirate world. The reason is very simple. A strong man with peak combat power, if blood is sucked by a vampire, he will become a centenarian in an instant. Time can make batch after batch of strong men age. The invisible lethality is so strong that it is outrageous. If a certain guard in Impel Down has the form of a phantom beast vampire, then the big pirate sent to Impel Down does not need to bring sea stone. As long as they are sucked blood, the strong will disintegrate with the passage of life. I broke my head every time I fell. Does such a centenarian still have the ability to escape from prison? At the same time, in addition to the weird constitution added by Zoan itself, vampire ability users can create darkness, allowing ability users to hide in it, so that opponents cannot find their shadows. Certainly, Kazan has a large amount of pure gold. Life is not a problem. He doesn't currently have a fruit slot, so he doesn't plan to consume vampire form himself. But it can be given to the people on board. The number of members of the Flying Pirates is increasing day by day. People with potential are gradually being discovered, and the advantages of talented people are being expanded. The demand for fruits is also quite large. Sleeping Ancient Town originally required O'Hara scholars to decipher the ciphertext in order to find a fruit in the form of a vampire. Kazan's condition is not equipped for treasure hunting. But since he got the treasure hunting radar, this fruit is in Kazan's must-take plan. After the News West is manufactured, he returns to New World and plans the route. Here we come. No matter where the fruit is hidden. When the radar sweeps, there is nothing to hide. Everyone go to the island. Rest for half a day. Captain Kazan gave the order. The Nuxus docked at the seaside, and the nearly 60 people on board the ship happily landed on the island of Sleeping Ancient Town. Longbread found an open space and began to prepare for the banquet. With a knife in his hand, he quickly sliced various ingredients into thin slices, and the luster of the meat came out. Others helped to transport the ingredients, light the fire, set up tents, and lay carpets. Come, help, Lin. Ah, that's great. There's another party. Great. Here it comes, wow. With the entry of the Flying Pirates, the entire deserted island immediately changed its vitality. And Kazan, Shiki, Shaki, Stussy. The four of them walked slowly towards the depths of the island ruins. Master, be careful. There are thorns and thorns ahead. Stussy took Kazan's arm, pleading in his beautiful eyes. She looked so pitiful. It will make people who don't know think that Stuss has been abused. Since Stussy was pinched by Kazan and subjected to psychological torture, she was careful in everything she did, for fear of making her master Kazan angry. Kazan has also used heart reading many times to confirm Stussy's experience. She has a clean body and is very loyal to herself after being surrendered. It's just that after many years of research on the secret medicine of youth, coupled with extreme narcissism, my psychology gradually became a little abnormal. Seeing her doing everything, she looks like she is begging her master. Kazan also asked her to relax. Don't call yourself master, just act like a slave master. You, Stussy. In the future, he will be the technology leader of the Flying Pirates. The atmosphere should be in place. But Stussy said that her hidden masochistic genes were stimulated by Kazan. She's crazy about being abused by Kazan. If you don't call Kazan master for a day, and you don't get spanked a few times, you will feel uncomfortable all over. Kazan really treats her as a human being. But Stussy is not willing at all. Perhaps scientists are more stubborn. XX. Stuss indeed made an intoxicated sound amidst the begging for mercy. So, the master is the master. Kazan didn't bother anymore. Anyway, Stussy only does that to Kazan. In front of other people, she still has an unstoppable nobility and elegance. Like the other one on the boat, Charlotte Lin is also very strange. Lin didn't have any idea about other rooms at all. He just wanted to live with Kazan and Shaki, and now Stussy moved in again. Seeing that the latecomers are the first to arrive, Lin is so wronged. In the dream talk, everyone is arguing to be the empress. Live in the biggest room, Lin also doesn't think Kazan doesn't want to serve children at all. Why? In short, these women on board are very strange. And soon, Kazan's treasure hunt radar suddenly had a red dot flashing. The mechanical beep also brought him back to his senses. Dididi, approaching. Hearing the prompt, Kazan waved the 3D treasure hunting radar and found that the red was inside the pyramid ruins in front, still more than 10 meters above the ground. It is estimated to be in the middle of the stones of a Mayan pyramid. Kazan confirmed the location. Devil fruit is just ahead. Let's go. Shiki, Shaki, and Stussy all listened in disbelief. They knew that Kazan came to the island to find a devil fruit, and now they heard Kazan's certainty. They couldn't help but exclaim in their hearts. You really deserve to be my brother. The plan is perfect. This man knows everything better than me. An intelligence agent. Great host. The greatest host ever. Where did the news about Kazan come from? How is this fruit the same as the one he buried himself? There was a burst of emotion among the people. And just when the four of Kazan were about to enter the ruins, just saw. A tall man in a red dress came out. with a narrow-bladed rapier at his waist, a treasure map in his hand, and nothing else. The man shook his head, as if feeling sorry for not finding the treasure. Baloric Redfield. Now, he's not the lonely Red that he was later, but a lonely swordsman wandering the sea. Because Redfield is a born observation hockey awakener, his knowledge is powerful enough to read people's hearts. And when he was young, he could hear the voices of almost everyone around him uncontrollably. Infancy. The budding state of humanity. Because of Redfield's premature touch, the ugly secrets in the hearts of adults. This allows a child whose mind is still budding to develop in a more withdrawn direction. Killing, hypocrisy, abuse, lust, greed. Evil. Childhood Redfield never experienced it personally, but was also engraved on his little heart through the continuous voice of the heart, and the engraving became deeper and deeper to the point where it could not be removed. Mental illness is planted. Maybe it's because I'm used to seeing the ugly hearts of the people around me. Redfield has a great rejection of other people and has developed a very withdrawn character. As he grows older, his knowledge becomes more and more colorful. Of course, the ability to read people's hearts can be turned off at any time, but childhood can be called the helpless experience of dark products. Keep Redfield out of human contact. Stay away from the crowd, go to sea alone, enjoy the solitude. No. Seeing Kazan and others coming to the ruins, Redfield didn't care. The people in front of me are just a few strangers among the vast number of sentient beings who came to explore the ruins, so there is no need to have any entanglements. No idea at all. Redfield has long been monitoring the entire island through knowledge and knowledge. Of course, he did not read people's hearts, but only knew that a group of pirates had come to the island, so it was not surprising to see Kazan. As for the treasure map in his hand, I got it by accident a few days ago, but he found that the ruins are like a maze, and he couldn't find the marked phantom beast, devil fruit, which can affect lifespan. In this situation, Redfield could only return without success. I don't want to throw away the treasure map in my hand, so I hide on the island where I buried the treasure. If I have a chance in the future, I will look for this mysterious devil fruit again. Does it increase lifespan? Is there really such a mysterious ability? Let's wait and see. Other pirates don't have the storage space of Kazan, and they find it troublesome to carry important things, so they usually choose to find a familiar island, find a tree, and bury them on the spot. Redfield is no exception. Anyway, he was a bit reluctant to lose this treasure map. And the other side, Kazan naturally noticed the man in red in front of him. This attire is exactly what later generations will become famous for. It is the lone Red Earl Baloric Redfield, who is as famous as Whitebeard, Roger, and other great pirates. Normally, the Rocks would have Whitebeard Newgate, Golden Lion Shiki in his secondary. Roger has Silver Rayleigh and Brass Jabba as his secondaries. Redfield can be as famous as Roger, enough to meet his extraordinary. If Redfield can be recruited to the Air Pirates, that cooperates with me, Brother Shiki. The combination of these three people is undoubtedly the most brutal force on the sea. Only, a lonely person has a lot of ideas, and getting on a boat might be a hassle, so forget it. A thought flashed through Kazan. Did not continue to tangle. He is not afraid of Redfield. He has fought against Roger before, and Shiki has also defeated Newgate, the future peak powerhouse in the sea. The current strength of everyone is actually the same. Unlike Rocks, Kong, and others, they have already entered the peak of their combat power. Redfield is only in his early 20s now. In terms of strength, Kazan has full confidence in winning. Only, the other party seemed withdrawn and used to it, and when he saw someone, he would even lift his eyes and lower his head to meet him. If there is no intersection, Kazan will naturally not bother. Kazan came to find the phantom beast vampire form, not to fight. See the treasure map in Redfield's hand. Kazan also couldn't help thinking, in this era, Redfield has already obtained the vampire treasure map. It's just that there are no scholars from O'Hara, and they can't decipher the text in the ruins. Word agency? So when you are old, you will come directly to hunt for the bat fruit vampire form? Passed by. No one spoke. Nothing happened. Seeing that Ladefield had returned without success, Kazan gave up entering the ruins to explore. On the periphery, he touched the stones of the ruins with his hands to lay a floating mark. In an instant, the entire ruin sprang up loosely. Huge blocks of blue and black disintegrated and separated in the air. The entire pyramid has become a loose state of collapse at any time, and countless dust and gravel are falling down like a waterfall at this moment. Soon, a purple-red strange fruit. Thumping, bouncing among the rocks, rolling down. The green whirlwind blew by, and the purple-red fruit landed on Kazan without any mistakes. Kazan picked it up and took a look. Not bad. Okay. It is Zoan, a bat fruit, phantom beast, vampire form. AJ. The secret treasure of the sea touched by the host, the phantom beast vampire form. Experience plus 6 million. Fortune value is already full. Critically hit the armed color branch entry. Internal destruction. Fortune value is full. Crit out Conqueror's branch entry. Conflict. Bone shaking, release Conquerors like a long-range skill, causing physical damage and adding mental damage at the same time, similar to God's Avoidance and Bone Fist Rush, understood by the host. The range changes according to the strength. Seeing these two entry rewards, Kazan knew he was fully developed. The first is Armament Hockey. He has not mastered the internal destruction of the armed color before, and now the internal destruction skill of the armed color has arrived, all the branches of the armed color that have appeared in the plot. He has absolutely mastered it. And Conqueror's Conflict is also an important part of Conqueror's Hockey. After this skill is lit, Kazan already has the same moves as Peak Shanks. Killing by knowledge. God Avoids. Of course, if you use swordsmanship, but if you use fists. It also has the ability to swing Bone Fist Clash like Garp. Throw a punch of long-distance destruction with the Conqueror's Hockey. Hiss. Kazan couldn't help but gasp. Looking at it this way, I've already collected all the powerful moves that have appeared. Wanakuni digs a wild, famous knife, touches it to fill up the fortune value, comes to sleeping ancient town, and finds the vampire form of the phantom beast, good money. All kinds of experiences come together. It produced such a big crit. This point, it's something Kazan never thought of before. Kazan was totally in for a surprise. Is it so easy to find? Shiki couldn't help but admire. Stussy has another pleading expression. The master is great. Brother, is this the phantom beast you mentioned? Well, I actually hate Zoan. Shiki frowned. Reminiscent of Sabaody Die Island, besieged by 3 targeted Zoans. Shiki couldn't help feeling a little uncomfortable. Only it's the Zoan on his own ship, and it's instantly different. Zoan, it's still a phantom beast, okay? Brother, what kind of ability is this phantom beast? The 3 of them gave questioning looks at the same time. Kazan is in a great mood after getting Conqueror's bone-shaking ability. Not bad, huh? We did find a phantom beast. Then Kazan patiently explained to the 3 people. This is a Zoan phantom beast devil fruit. The name is bat fruit. It is in the form of a vampire, and the capable person can control others. Lifespan, and remain young forever, and can hide in the dark. It seems very powerful. Jiahahaha. Shiki and Shaki sighed at the same time, their brows raised. Owner. Stussy's heart tightened when he heard it, and he felt that his whole body was on the edge. What's the situation? In less than half a month, I had witnessed pure gold with my own eyes, and at this moment, I saw the fruit in the form of vampire that can keep young. Are there so many time elixir in the sea? Or follow the master. It will be so easy to see. Oh, master. Stussy following you is the most beautiful decision. Please whip me up. And when everyone was in a state of surprise, a mysterious color of knowledge, attacks from all directions. Valoric Redfield shot at this moment. 70-070, the defeated Red Earl. Can I be wronged? Snapped. In the face of the knowledge released by Redfield, Kazan used Conqueror's knowledge kill to instantly block this observation hockey. Like a puff of smoke, it was blown away. The effect is immediate. Not far away, Redfield stopped and turned around. Alas, ill. He showed a very puzzled expression. What happened? Devil fruit, Redfield doesn't really matter. It's true that he has the treasure map of the devil fruit of the phantom beast, and it's also true that he came to sleeping ancient town to hunt for treasure first. It's also true that he has no fate with that devil fruit. Since others get it, there is nothing to say. And Redfield made an informed observation, purely out of curiosity, and wanted to find out what this group of people were thinking. After all, he is the one who got the devil fruit. Even. This group of people does not shy away from talking loudly about this phantom beast in front of an outsider, as if I didn't take myself seriously. No. The color of knowledge is sealed and cannot read people's hearts. It made Redfield even more puzzled. Defensive knowledge is very common, but he has only seen it in his life to block and read people's hearts. Defense and blockade are actually two different things. Redfield deserves to be called the lonely red man. Faced with this situation, even if the opponent has a large number of people, even if the strength is miraculous and bottomless, he has no intention of leaving at all. I even look forward to what will happen on this island. After going to sea for several years, I rarely see opponents. Immediately, Guadefeld's fighting spirit began. He wants to see what kind of magical ability it is. Those who can suppress their own initiative to release, read people's hearts. At the same time, on Shiki's side, he felt the breath of Redfield. Same as Big Brother Kazan. It seems to be a specific development called knowledge reading people's hearts. The man in red is a master at observation hockey. I thought in my heart, is this person robbing the phantom beasts? Anyway, don't take action to teach a lesson. Doesn't fit his golden lion personality either. Shiki's hands moved quickly. With one step on his foot, the Sakura 10 wood hanging on his waist was unsheathed, facing Redfield without any hesitation. Before anyone arrives, the imposing slash wave is already on the way. Buzz. The gold slash wave struck, and a huge sword sounded. Redfield armament hockey wrapped around the blade. Hit hard on the flying slash wave, splitting it apart. Redfield was under a lot of pressure. He couldn't help taking a few steps back. The dust instantly shattered where he had landed, and the sound of explosions exploded around him. But Redfield finally blocked the blow. .297. Although he was serious, he didn't feel how powerful the blonde boy was. Redfield has innate confidence in his own strength. Over the years, he has created his own sword dance and hockey-like combat skills by reading the defeated opponent's memory, experience, swordsmanship, perception, open-handedness, and the strengths of other families. Also, read it early. Can read the martial arts cheats in other people's minds. It's no different from a plug-in. For a chosen child like Redfield, it's hard not to be strong. Interesting. With a step on his foot, the long sword in Redfield's hand was slowly raised, ready to strike again. At the same time, Knowledge Color opened fire with all its might. His natural knowledgeable owner, reading people's hearts, has the characteristics of full coverage, just like a passive skill that can be turned on and off automatically. Yes, reading people's hearts can be defended by people of the same level, or even a lower level. But battles are often fierce collisions. As long as the enemy relaxes a bit, Redfield can take the opportunity to read the opponent's psychological activities, even if only for a brief moment. Finding out just one thought of your opponent can affect the entire battle situation. This is the core advantage in the battle of reading people's hearts. As for the aftermath, of course, taking advantage of the enemy's weakness to speed up all the enemy's combat skills. But Redfield was disappointed again. He was surprised. Reading people's hearts is like a mud cow entering the sea, disappearing without a trace in an instant. Even if I drive it all the time, I don't get any feedback. Could it be him? Redfield looked to the other side, and there was another blonde man at the scene. The hockey, which can seal and read people's hearts, came from that man. Across the way, Kazan looked at a somewhat confused Redfield. Kazan couldn't help being a little amused. Kill by knowledge. It's too strong. As expected of the man with the strongest conquerors, the skill mastered by the red-haired Shanks. Even facing a natural knowledgeable person like Redfield, as long as Conquerors develops knowledge killing, it can branch and seal all the knowledge color characteristics. The so-called natural color of knowledge has also become common color of knowledge. The difference is still huge. For example, observation hockey itself is to improve the responsibility of the awakened person, and the awakened person can predict the future. It is a prediction, hypothetical judgment of the unknown. If the judgment is correct, dodge the attack. If you make a wrong judgment, you will suffer the consequences yourself. And what about the feature branch of knowledge and knowledge, foreseeing the future? It's about actually seeing what's going to happen. That short moment is the fact that the future must happen. Between prediction and fact, it feels like a goal is about to be scored, and the goal must be scored in the next second. Huge difference. Therefore, the killing of knowledge and knowledge can kill all the characteristic branches of knowledge color, which is equivalent to forcing the strong into a situation where they rely on instinct to fight. What will happen in the next second depends entirely on the fighting instinct. After experimenting with a powerful ability of killing by knowledge, it is only natural for Kazan to laugh on the spot. It really is his fault. How old is it? Redfield actually met an opponent who restrained himself on hockey. It shouldn't be. That kid is still laughing at himself. What a jerk. Relying on the ability to read people's hearts at any time, in previous battles, Redfield has always been playing with others, just like playing games. When did others play with himself? However, not only that, Redfield's knowledge and knowledge can also foresee the future ones, but he found that he couldn't see the short future at this moment. This feeling, for him who is used to crushing his opponents with knowledge, is no different from being blocked and blind. Very uncomfortable. While Redfield was planning how to respond, the next moment, Kazan exudes observation hockey, locking on Redfield at 360 degrees without any dead ends. Damn it, how can I read people's hearts? When Redfield reacted, he was so frightened that he immediately opened up his aura to defend. He never imagined that one day he would become the target of others invading his thinking. Is this guy also born to be knowledgeable? Present. Shiki attacks again. Without reading people's hearts and foreseeing the future, Redfield gradually fell into a passive state. The development of Shiki's swordsmanship is not as weak as that of Redfield, who steals and summarizes other people's swordsmanship perceptions. Moreover, Shiki created the double sword style of swordsmanship, which perfectly suits his own swordsmanship. Jingle 1. The collision of swords resounded throughout the audience. Redfield retreated steadily after being beaten, retreating several steps in succession. He uses armed colors, Conquerors. Shiki also has it, and it's not worse than what he developed. Certainly. Although he was in a weak position, Redfield was a strong player after all, and he didn't say he was defeated. Just very uncomfortable. Ooh. Redfield was panting, feeling very unwilling. What made him most uncomfortable was that the blonde man who hadn't made a move had completely killed his observation hockey advantage without moving. What kind of power is it? Why have I never read it in the minds of my previous opponents? If you continue to fight like this, you will definitely fail miserably. And at this time, hear the sound of fighting on the island. Sengoku, Charlotte Lin, Longbread and others who were preparing for the banquet rushed to the scene and saw Shiki fighting. Lin immediately expressed that he couldn't bear it and wanted to take action. Conquerors broke out straight away. Shocked Redfield again. Good guy. Redfield, who is withdrawn by nature, never reads wanted notices or newspapers, and doesn't care about news from the sea. What he meets depends entirely on fate. He doesn't know Kazan, of course. Originally, he didn't take the people on this boat seriously, but now he feels that he was so wrong. Didn't you see a pink-haired girl with Conqueror's hockey? What kind of monsters are on this ship? Do you really want to fight? Don't you want to be surrounded and beaten to death? BJDG, Kazan stopped Lin. Shiki is having fun. Don't bother. Don't worry, we will win easily. Well, I listened to Boss Kazan. Brother Shiki, the banquet is about to start. Let's make it quick. Charlotte Lin made a trumpet with her hand and yelled directly into the sky. Redfield, who was listening, had black lines all over his face. As for Kazan's words, Redfield was even more annoyed and directly quit. After all, he was just a boy in his early 20s. Can you bear this grievance? Do not fight. No fun. The lion-like man in front of him had better swordsmanship than himself, and he still had demon fruit power, so his ability was useless. The blonde man even turned his knowledgeable nature into nothingness. Now here comes another Conqueror's damsel. This configuration wants to gang up on the single self. Even the gods can't play it. Jia, the man in red is a coward. Since you choose to strike first and leave no price behind, do you think you can leave here? Shiki was floating in the air, taunting wildly. The sword skills are not very good. TSK, where did the fighting spirit go? Fool. Redfield's face was full of disdain. Golden retriever bastard. What are you proud of? It's not your skill. One-on-one can't tell who wins. Redfield felt aggrieved. He admitted that Sherway was very fishy. Although he has a lonely character, but the facts must be recognized. Shiki is strong on the one hand, but isn't there another reason? Knowledge color was killed. Not fair, okay? Come on, Baloric Redfield, I can give. Your fair one-on-one duel, but what if you lose? Kazan spoke suddenly. After all, Redfield is as famous as Whitebeard and Roger. Being able to intersect with it here, Kazan is ready to give it a try. Subdue it. Although Redfield is a withdrawn person, he was able to intersect with the Baron Brook pirate group and was infected by the ideal of the nose song Brook and even began to worship. Nasal song Brook. If Brook had invited, maybe Redfield boarded the ship of the Baron pirates? Although withdrawn and aloof, Redfield is a normal person. Hawkeye, who has always been single, later formed the Four Emperors group with Lao Sha. Moreover, a lonely person has a weakness of being lonely. They will have absolute confidence in themselves and strongly maintain their self-esteem. For the sake of dignity, this kind of people will keep their promises. If the blow hits and give Redfield another step, maybe it will be done. You don't have to pay anything here. Compared to keeping a secret, Kazan prefers to trust his own judgment. And he has knowledge to kill. The secrets of the entire Flying Pirates lie in the core characters, and even the real secret lies only in Kazan himself. You know me. Redfield was surprised. Kazan, a swordsman without a companion on the sea, by the way. Is your nickname Pat? You. Redfield froze. The man in front of him absolutely knew himself. As a person who was born with knowledge and knowledge, if his memory has been read, he can perceive it, and Redfield is sure that his memory has not been read, so how would he know? Stop talking nonsense. We are in a hurry to start a banquet. One-on-one, what is the price if you lose? Hearing this, Redfield gritted his teeth and said directly, if you don't use the ability to block knowledge and color, you can set the conditions. If Kazan makes a killing, Redfield might as well not take this fight. He realized that this blonde man was more difficult to deal with than the previous one. Don't be afraid. I can see the future. Remember what you said. Don't die. Finished. Kazan put away what he had seen and heard and entered a defensive state. Conquerors, armed color, knowledge color. This moment is all about Redfield. Hockey struck, and Redfield immediately trembled. This man is strong. Redfield read people's hearts and was immediately released. Instead of reading other people's memories, he focused all his attention on Kazan. The familiar feeling of fighting is back. His fighting spirit was immediately aroused. Come on. Redfield's rapier was immediately covered with armed color. And Kazan's side was immediately blown up by a gust of wind, and he jumped tens of meters high, and in the next moment his body, which was blessed by the wind, fell towards Redfield at an extreme speed. At the moment of falling, Kazan's first-generation ghost came out of its sheath, and thunder and lightning immediately flashed on a blade. Conquerors swept the audience. Not only that, Kazan is also preparing to use the Conqueror's impact this time. If the Conqueror's entanglement is limited to the weapon, but the impact is to twist the entangled Conquerors into a slash and attack into the opponent's body, and the physical and mental attacks will explode at the same time. Hitting someone who doesn't even have a Conqueror's root is genius. It's really bullying. Boom, boom, boom. Asshole, are you underestimating me? Redfield immediately greeted him with a knife. Buzz, buzz. The moment the two were about to touch, the black thunder in front of Redfield suddenly exploded, and a black-red slash was shot out by the violent thunder. Redfield gritted his teeth. His eyes widened in an instant. A lot of blood sprayed out directly from the gap between the teeth. Wait, the future I see is... Gradually, Redfield felt more and more distant from Kazan Gold's figure. What happened? How am I going backwards? What is this power? Boom. In just an instant, Redfield was blasted back tens of meters by Kazan's strike and bombarded on the huge stone ruins in the distance. The explosion came out, the wind blade danced wildly, and the ruins were immediately turned into dust. Smoke and dust filled half of sleeping ancient town. This is just what happened in a second. Shiki, Shaki, Stussy, Lin, who saw this scene. All were stunned in shock. Go crazy. What kind of power is this? My own big brother, man, master, boss, is astounding. It's too scary. Too bad that man in red is probably stupid.